everybody, yo there, my name is Supersonic Blur, and welcome to a slightly different series of videos, hopefully. Well, I should hope so. This is going to be the Combine for the EU side of things. Don't necessarily know if I'll be able to do the NA side, but EU side of things. We are in the quarterfinals, and for those who don't necessarily know what the Combine is to the SML, what the SML is to the SPL. This is where players who are interested in trying to pursue a more professional career, wanting to try and put themselves into the pro scene, look to try and show themselves as a talent, as a team, and show what they can do. So we're going to be looking at the Moxies versus Forever. Moxies came into this second seed, lost out to Elo Fishers 2-1 in the finals last time, and they are looking to come back. Forever came in 10th seed, so it's going to be interesting to see how well this goes. We do see Ragin picked up for the mid lane. This is a pick which we've seen a lot of in the Combine. It's very, very strong clear. Going against a Zeus, which is also just as equally strong clear, matching each other, especially with the new Zeus buff. This is an incredibly scary feat, incredibly scary and daunting task. The amount of damage that Zeus gained on the Detonate is phenomenal amounts. Like, it's a huge amount. Forget the multiplier. The multiplier doesn't do anywhere near enough to try and actually pull down the damage potential that has happened with him. So now we just see mid and jungle now. Those two are close together. What is interesting though is that we saw that Alquang actually soloed the first bout of mid camps on the right hand side. Ragin getting pushed very low. Alquang forced to back away. It will grab 1-for-1 there. There's a cheeky turn. Very cheeky turn around there from Frosian. Doku doing okay amounts of damage as well, just to keep that safe. Take a quick look at duo lane while we can. Invade was successful coming out from Detoxian Impo. They did manage to grab themselves both purple belts, which do stack, so they can potentially be a little bit more aggressive here. But they do just want the wave pushed up as far as they can. Aura and Kepri are very strong pick potentials here, but Muzenkarb does have very safe ranged clear, so they can quite happily sit back for a while. Bit of an invade going on over on the right hand side. They will go all the way of Alquang, but he has used his dash. Jump in though from Raijin, looking to put some good damage in, and he will actually pick up the first blood. Zeus not able to rotate around in time. Now they're going to look to try and collapse in on him. He should know that they're there. Oh, is this a bait? Oh, I thought that back was more of a look for a bait there. Still, good work. First blood going the way of a Raijin. It's a very, very nice thing to see. Not to mention as well, getting your jungler, who is a late game hyper carry, into that state is very good. Now we're going to look to see if they're going to go for an invade themselves. Wolver is on his own. Will get the clear though, and immediately just dumpsters into those. So good clear, and they'll even get the mid camp timer as well. Quick peek into solo lane. Not too much really to report here. Cozy with the Amaterasu has also still gone for this Guardian's Blessing, even into a Guardian of Richard 1861. He still wants to actually hold that. It's actually why we've seen the Totem seems to be going the way more so of Forever, which gives a fair bit of MP5 in the early game. It's 25, I believe, MP5? It's either 25 or 30 MP5. Either way, you get that for 10 seconds, and then that ring that you saw just around the towers, you refresh that buff for every time that you sat in there. So on a stance switcher like Artio, who really wants the MP5, she's going to be able to do a lot of work with it, as Wolves blew up Asti over on the left-hand side. Nice rotational awareness coming out from them. And so as a result, they just pick up a very clean kill. A lot of wards available currently for Moxies. In terms of gold though, you can see just every so often there's this little tink in Forever's favor. It's just a little bit, but it is still there, and that's just that 25 gold, global gold for every player on the team. So that's not too bad. There's 120 gold every time, just dink straight into the pocket, not to mention the MP5. Very, very strong, and a very nice thing to be able to see. Mid lane, Luke's poked out just a touch, but nothing really to worry about. Now we're going to see the return invade. Caught over the ward though. Sprint has been popped, but it's 3v1. No! Curve ends up picking the kill. Forzian can't get it with the ult. That surprises me. He wasn't able to get it with the ult. Beads had already been forced, and Unfortunately, the B just wasn't mobile enough. The ward coverage now is very good. Circuit or Gels trying to make a rotation to mid, but Thunder Crash is good. Instead, they will just settle for the invade. And now they're going to try and look for this invade on the blue buff as well, potentially. Nope, just going to back instead. Solo, being the slap fight that it is, nothing really too much that can be done. I like the call to pick up the Talaria boots here. The MP5 and rotational speed are more what Cozy's looking for. Cozy's played totally fine sitting back on these kinds of gods before, so the idea here is just, if I do get invaded, I have MP5. If I lose this, if I lose this totem, I still have MP5. It is still big for Forever, though, to keep being able to pick this up. Missed dash there. But now Alcon is rotating. Mid lane, we see a bit more of a fight going on. Khepri's still level 5, isn't able to find anything. Good pull, but he'll be able to get away. Solo side. Interesting to see, though, that Forever, as soon as Forever get that pick in mid, you can see that Moxies really try to commit on the right-hand side, knowing that, they have so much potential, there's lack of potential rotation for Forever. They just aren't there. It's a little awkward that Asti is still behind. He has dinged level 5 now, though, but still, only tier 2 boots. Should have enough gold to be able to back, if I look at him. Nearly. Yeah, actually, no, he has 1.1k. He has enough to be able to go back. Thunder Crash is safe, and now Forever, Gelst has just been doing this on cooldown. He is going to get collapsed on a bit, but he will just get out. He'll take the two smalls and be done with it. Good damage there from the Reflect, though. And now he's just going to run back. Good Cobra's Kiss. Could look for the ult potential here, but doesn't look like they've got much thought on a kill potential. Still just running. 3 people over here now. Asti was looking at doing some damage to the totem, but he's not going to be able to do much. We're just going to rely on the other two. Meanwhile, mid lane is getting pushed back under tower. So, quick look at the graphs, and you can see again, it's still in Forever's favor, but only just, which I think is a very important thing right now. It's only just in their favor. Very interesting to see what else is coming out here. So, again, just going back down to the graphs, it's very close, but not a huge amount there. Sorry about that, folks. Just want to make sure I got Discord all set to D&D and everything. Don't want those noises confusing you guys. That would be a little awkward. So, in terms of the later this gets, it is a very interesting one in who the dynamic shifts to. But hang on a sec. Blink in. Khepri pushed very low. Tycho Drums does come out. The pull is good. Remag will pick it up. Can't get over the wall in time. Thunder Crash isn't good enough. Ult was forced by Khepri, but he will be able to get the revive. Detonate ended up pushing him out, saving him even more. Now, Dazzling Offense, looking 1v3. Alcon is here, doesn't manage to land a stun. Amaterasu very low, the shell gets him out. But Wolver Warrior was already very low. All it took was a little bit of damage coming out from the Alcon, and he was executed. So, with that, game ties itself back up. Beautiful save from Asti there. Absolutely beautiful. An unfortunate situation. Impo managed to get a fantastic ult. It was really good damage, but it just wasn't enough. As actually see now, Forzian really doing some good work. That passive now is absolutely chunking. If you have a look at it, we can't see what passives look like, but with a full Wild Storm coming through, he'd also got the heal from the Eastern Seas. Good beats will get him out of danger as well, and he will just Water Illusion back. The ward coverage that we've got here is very, very nice. Bit awkward that we've got 2 wards just placed here and here, but they are technically covering some slightly different areas. This one, I mean, you could just really, there should be one. I'm trying to be nice with them, but it's all faded now, so it's all okay. Mid camp's going the way of Forever. Another totem by the looks of things. And this is one of the things that stance changers have, which is very, very beneficial for them, is that they just have access to more abilities to be able to start hitting this totem. And around the 10-minute mark, this thing does take a fair bit of an investment to actually try and hit. Early game, it takes like 5 autos and 1 ability. Now, though, you do have to spend a good bit of time to try and actually get it. Being said, Forever will manage to secure it. Which gives them all a bit of MP5, which is very, very useful. And again, just ticking them over. Ao Kuang chasing down the Zeus. Does have reinforcement from the rest of the team. They want to try and hold for this red buff. Dash forward from Khepri. Does manage to get beats forced from the Amuzan Carb. That was a big investment. And that was, I hope that Ashley was able to see that. If not, then it shouldn't matter too much. But they really want to try and set up around this red buff. Is certainly looking for it. Zeus has gone back to the mid lane. They'll settle for the invade onto the purple buff for now, but 4 people are around this side. They won't manage to secure it, but they're just trying to make sure that nobody stays close enough to go and pick it up. They might be looking for a pick, because if they can stay around here and get a pick, then Gold Fury is up, and Gold Fury would be a nice way for the Moxies to push this game just a little bit further in their favor. Still, seems that both solo laners now are looking for some kind of rotations. Not too far out from the lane, but we do see now that Richard has gone for a proxy farm, so he'll just be able to get back. He should have enough to be able to get at least tier 2 of an item, if not more. But for now, we'll just start the Void Stone. Goes for a blink option, which is very interesting, the RCO blink. It can be certainly very useful, but it's mostly just for the bear stun, and hopefully, and this is the big one, is actually more the cripple. If you can just blink onto the Ao Kuang, cripple him out, and you're tanky, and you don't die fast enough, then he just gets blown up. Same thing really for the Raijin. There's a lot of dashes and mobility that the RTO can screw with, but Moxies weren't able to necessarily go for a Gold Fury play, so instead they'll take this quick, cheap, and easy Pyromancer. Ward just not quite close enough to be able to grab it, and even with that ward, it was very nice work to see there that Moxies didn't actually go to clear this ward. It should be, yeah, it's in the range, but they're like, guys, we don't have to worry about it. It's not covering anything. We know where it is. That's all they have to worry about. They know that at most it comes to here, which it does, and it barely covers Pyromancer. So instead of picking up this ward, showing that someone else is there, just get Pyromancer instead. I like that. It also doesn't give away the information that there is a sentry ward there. Sometimes a sentry ward's best piece of information is just that they think they're safe because they have a ward on it. Yes, you can clear the ward and remove that vision, but then they'll just know that, hey, someone's been here recently. So interesting choice coming out from Wolver. He's actually picking up himself a Void Stone, where he's got the Ward Stone now. This is mostly to try and help deal with the Ao Kuang, who is going to try and dumpster him. But that's just the entire goal of Ao Kuang at this point, is to just dumpster Zeus. Zeus's damage, while very high, takes a little bit more time than Ao Kuang does with that low attack chain, which you might be able to see a little bit of now. Is low enough for the execute, but doesn't need it. It was a good peel from Richard, but unfortunately, just throwing those dragons from Dragon Call did enough damage. Good aim coming out, and Gelst gets to sit back for 20 seconds. Invade wasn't successful for Moxies, but game is still in their favor. Just shy 3,000, about 2,500 gold, and over 5,000 experience. That's where this is being a killer right now. It's a 2-level lead on ADCs. It's a 2-level lead in the jungle. It's a level lead on Asti, and Asti was behind. Asti did take a fair. He was behind this Sylvanas for like a level 11.5 in the early game. Now he's a level up, despite having taken this death. 2 people still in the solo lane. Gonna see the ult come through from Cozy. No silence, there it is. Audio is taking a lot of damage. The ult, though, it's not good from the Ao Kuang. That's again, we've seen that happen. Doesn't have Water Illusion. How long is that going to take for him to be able to get that up? I don't know. He's still got 7 seconds. He's just pushing back damage. Gelst pushed very low. Lightning Storm and Detonate will manage to pick him up, though. No walls around the area, didn't spot out Wolver's rotation in the end. Now he's just looking to try and get this blue buff on the invade. Very nice work. We'll be able to secure it, get it quick. Gels, though, putting in a lot of work. And it was just unfortunate that Forzian, again, it's the second time now we've seen that his ult's just been a little bit too early. They've been just above the threshold. Because Ao Kuang ult, let's have a look at the threshold there. Yeah, 30%. I don't know why it didn't go off, actually. I'm not 100% on that. But it didn't. And that's what matters here, is the fact that it didn't. So that's going to be a little bit of a respite for forever. We can actually see as well, even Gelth is picking up this magical defense. They are really respecting the amount of poke potential that a Raijin and an Ao Kuang will be able to bring. But this has meant that, you know, if you look at everyone on this team, they've all picked up this magical defense first, except for Richard, who even now still has it. Asti ends up eating the Wrath of Terror there, but there was no real follow-up. No real follow-up from anyone else. Wasn't going to force anything. And Asti was going to hold his ult on that. So I'm surprised that we actually saw that go the way that it did. Now again, just trying to delay how long it takes them to get this red buff. Moxies have really been trying to push for a red buff, but instead, they're going to actually look and just go for the Gold Fury right now. I like this call. Amaterasu's here. Richard still hasn't rotated. He's just now come across. Blink forward, though, from Serket. Forces out the Taiko drums. They're looking for the kill. Will they be able to find it, though? Lightning Storm comes down. Raijin beat. Not 100% sure why. Khepri forced very low shells. And ults himself. Does manage to get the revive, though. Detonate not good enough. Curve picks up the first kill onto Gels. Meanwhile, on the backside, down goes the tank. And Forza, they're going to chase everyone out. He's going to look to the backside, try and find this Zeus, who's doing a lot of damage. Axstun comes through. Beats Aegis is good, but it's not good enough to be able to stop from the Raiju damage from the Thunder Crash in. Moxies are just pressing W the entire time. Curve gets another kill, and Amuzen Carb's the only one left. Low health bars for the Moxies, but with good tanking here and a full health Cozy, they should be pretty cozy to do this Gold Fury right now. Very nice play coming out from the Moxies there. Khepri held the ult long enough for him to be able to effectively use that. The shell was huge as well. Unfortunately, Wolves had to try and get that detonate going. He had to do it to try and put more damage onto everyone else. Unfortunately, it just meant that Asti comes back with, like, what, 40% health? Yeah, recovered health. 35% of his health bar. That is a huge amount on a Khepri, considering the fact that he's on, you know, 2,000 health. He's come back at 600 HP. That's a lot to try and then re-burn through. So, because of this, he was able to do that. Forzen was able to slip into the backside of things, immediately just erase Impo. You just take him straight up into the air, able to reposition himself very nicely. Gel started that engagement going for the blink. Unfortunately, it just felt like Forever were too split out for their damage. Zeus was still sat around where this ward was. He came in over to the left side, looking to try and get the Gold Fury down. Like, he was sat, basically he placed the Gold Fury around this ward to try and you know, secure Gold Fury, but Moxies just completely released it, and then it was just dump everyone in this tiny small little corridor here. Curve was able to free cast pretty much the entire time, and it just meant that Moxies were in a better position and had a better team fight. Not to mention as well, it was a 4v5. Richard was late on a rotation, and he can't match this rotation speed from Cozy. Not to mention that his own aura passive from the Blessed Divine Presence giving him movement speed, but the movement speed that he currently has on the Talaria boots as well just push him that little bit further. And all in all, it pays dividends to have, as now 5,000 gold lead and 8,000 experience lead is in favor of the Moxies. It's interesting to see as well, though, just how both sides have been responding to this. We actually see Detroxys going for DX Troy. I'm just going to call him Troy from now on, because who needs the DX? But anyway, Troy has picked up this Blackthorn Hammer, which is a lot of health and a fair bit of power, but when you've got the percentage execute, I'm not 100% sold on what he's looking to do here. I guess he's trying to just burn down faster in that time, rather than worry about life stealing and trying to sustain through the fight. He's just saying, hey, if you have to burn through an extra 450 health, is that going to be able to do enough? As Moxies do secure themselves the Pyromancer again. And the ward coverage, it seems that even though, like, 4 others just haven't really been warding that much. If I have a look, well, I know one of these has got wards placed. Here we go. If you look at wards, you've got 11, 7, 6, 5, 4. We have 6, 6. Like, this is... You can't do that. I don't care how far behind you are, you need to be warding. I need to see these wards go down. As again, another invade potential. I'm looking for it. I believe that they were able to be forced off, or sorry, Troy was able to force off Curve. Mostly because we did see as well Warrior and Gelst were up over on the red buff, which has been secured and is important. It's interesting though that it's still been 20 minutes in this game and no tower has been taken yet. Not one. We actually see Cozy's double proxying behind the Phoenix. Not 100% if he's going to be able to get away right now. Richard is here and he does have the 3 available to him, so he will just walk his way back. He knows he hasn't got to worry too much about wards coming up from the, or people coming up from the backhand side. He's actually going to stop on the way and pick himself up some back camps. Gelst is here, but I'm not 100% he's going to be able to be there in time. He has been spotted. Sylvanas now is around the back. Is just trying to run away back to the safety of the team. Raijin is here. Good route and a good body block of the dash. Actually forced the ult, and they're looking to try and turn this around. Tycho Drums comes out, so does the damage through from the Zeus there, but it's not good enough. Bozin picks up one on the left-hand side as Raijin now running for his life. Is able to get away. Asti keeps him alive, but it's not good enough. He will pay for his life instead. Bit of an awkward spot there. Coming out for the Moxies, they trade themselves out 1 for 1. But it is support for the ADC, and this will mean that the first tower to go down is in favor of Moxies over on the left-hand side. There's a bit of Cozy being just a bit too smug on the situation of where he was. Blink forward onto Owl. Has to be to try and be able to teleport away there. That's what I was talking about with that critical field. Just being able to blink, stun, immediately then change stance, set up for the entangling vines. Does a lot of work, a huge amount of work, not to mention as well that in Druid stance, it comes with a 25% power debuff. That means that this Ao Kuang is not that he's dealing 25% less damage, but he has 25% less power. He's looking at about, what, 360, that's exactly 90%, 90 power less. That's huge for him right now. Blink forward, stun onto the Zeus, forces beads, and Aegis. Sylvanas looking to get blown up, but the ult coming out of AMC is too much damage. He'll slip away now. An awkward situation. The damage was good, but there were just too many people pumping damage into Forzen, and the ult isn't an instant execute. It takes a second or two to wind it up. Zeus now pushed very low. Tycho Drums is enough to secure it, and they will now look to try and pressure this mid tower. It falls, and now with Wolf Warrior down, should be the potential for this free, not Gold Fury, and it's not only, it's Primal Fury. Now Primal Fury, new addition to the Gold Fury area, or the Fury side. This will actually give 5% additional damage to jungle camps and bosses for the Moxies, and this can stack several times. As you can see, it can stack, I believe, 6 times? 5 or 6 times? Or is it 3 times? It might stack 3 times, and they have a stack of it already, so that 5, I think it's 5 times, or 5%, or 3 times, and it's 5% that they get this. So now it means that Fire Giant Sieges are going to be a little bit harder to contest for forever. It's going to be a bit more difficult. Now, Primal Fury is the next one that's going to be respawning, and this one means that the next wave that will spawn for the team will have higher base health, higher base damage, and higher protection. So you're essentially getting a mini Fire Giant wave in all 3, or Phoenix wave in all 3 lanes, which does mean that you can as well look to try and set up more around these objectives, just because your minion wave will survive more, and it also lets you build what's basically known as a super wave. It's like a wave and a half of minions, because your wave just doesn't die. They're able to push up more. They're able to eat a wave and a half of minions from the enemy's team. So you can get a slow push going if no one responds to it from this next Fury. But for now, Moxies are trying to set up around this Fire Giant. Forever are here, and they will see people in response. Just all are looking to put some damage now. I think they're more trying to bait the fight that's going on for it. Curve is still on it, but he will peel himself away. Tycho Drums do come out. Sylvanas burnt down too low. Just the CC chain is too good. Couldn't get anything off. Didn't even be able to get his ult off. And now with that pick, Moxies will go back to the Fire Giant. Asti is on zone duty. Cozy's doing what he can for now. Is taking up this Fire Giant. Blink forward by the Artio, forces the beast from Raijin. People are jumping in. Big knock-up, though. But Thorzin is the one who ends up securing it. Fire Giant does go the way of Moxies. Detrox does manage to pick up one in the backside. Cozy still pushing forward. Raijin damage, though, is huge right now, chunking Richard down. They do lose Thorzin, but with 4 people still with a Fire Giant and trading out 2 for 1, that's still good for the Moxies. Big play there coming out. Gelst, unfortunately, wasn't able to secure too much. Did get some good madness off, and Curve took a chunk of damage, forced his DPS off. But again, it's right now, it's actually just mostly this Amusin Carb who's laying damage into this Ao Kuang, which is really big for him, considering the fact of that Wolver Warrior is the one who's being targeted a lot, or whoever's closest to this Ao Kuang. He is making sure that he's not being the target. So I feel like if they're going to keep trying to do this sort of situation, that Moxies need to realize that, hey, Ao Kuang is diving, make sure we know where all of the damage dealers are, because if he's trading himself out 1 for 1, we've got a problem here. Even if it is tank, even if it is the Sylvanas who's getting blown up, that's not great. We need, we need to make sure that this Ao Kuang is actually able to get an ult off. If he's not, then we've got a problem right now, and that's what's happening. But with Fire Giant around the race to 4 of them, they are starting to try and push up. They're going to push up right side and mid, by the looks of things. Cozy has already taken out the tier 1 tower. They also finished off Richard as well. And with this 4v5 power play, they will look to just try and push this forward. Meanwhile, Thorzin dutifully pushing up the mid wave. And I like this. Just split their defense, make them think we're going one way, and it's a bit of a bait and switch. But it does look like, though, that they will just swing around, make sure they get the towers down. They are very far in the lead at 13,000 gold, so they can play a little bit more aggressively, but they don't want to slip things up and give Forever even the slightest chance at coming back in. In fact, actually, this could work out very well for them. If they actually do decide to go for this last tower, they can buy up, set up for this Primal Fury, and then what makes this really impactful is that the next wave when that spawns will mean that they are able to push with that just a little bit better, considering the buff that it will give. So, very strong potential there for the team with the amount of gold that they have in hand. Yeah, 3,000 gold, 2,700 gold. That's a lot of gold that they can spend. Full items can just be bought now, which is huge. And it is important for the team to get that as they now skyrocket even further. 16,500 gold in the lead. And things are looking a little bit dire, but experience lead isn't a huge amount. Our biggest gap difference now is on Impo, who is 3 levels down. It's still going to be felt, but given the fact that almost everyone else is now level 20, it's more on Forever just being able to get enough farm to catch up, rather than Moxies pulling much further ahead. They are going to look to try and set up over on this left-hand side. They're not going to worry about Primal Fury. Right now, they've got minion waves coming up already, so for them, just getting this will be good enough. We'll clear out the sentry wall that was placed out in front of the lane. And now it's on for a Phoenix defense. Forever do have a fairly good hold on a Phoenix defense. A lot of good ranged poke, got a lot of good ranged damage. So we see Cozy going in, dazzling offense onto the back line. Audio now trying to tank up what she can. Amaterasu is eating the brunt of it. Good Wrath of Terror, though, comes through, pushes everyone back. And they'll hold for now. Taiko drums come out, but it's not good enough. No damage really connects onto it. Circuit throws down another ward to immediately have that lost. Not 100% sure what the plan was there. I guess it was just a little bit of, hey, face this ward, don't try and re-engage. Again, this is what I was talking about with that damage. There's just no minions able to go in. Changes, though, do mean, though, that as long as Moxies can hold aggro of the Phoenix, as long as a minion gets in there once, they can actually secure that. They can secure it because the backdoor protections will not drop until the aggro is leashed. So Moxies will fall back for now and look to try and grab this Oni Fury. And the Oni Fury should give them a little bit better of an offensive stance when it comes to the when it comes to looking for any push. They could look for a push, but Fire Giant is respawning in less than a minute now, so with that, I'm expecting them to try and head here. So the Regin now is 6 slotted, does still have boots, but he has a lot of penetration currently sat in this build. Well, you've got 10, 25, 40, plus Obsidian Shard passive. This build here is designed to just pen through everything. Everyone here just loses as much pen as possible. The Spear of the Magus and the Obsidian Shard do a fair good chunk of damage potential. We're looking at, even with those two alone, a minimum 50%, and more than that, even higher and lower protection thresholds. So, Fire Giant does go the way of Moxies. This was an enhanced Fire Giant, and now that they have this bonus minion wave as well, they're going to look to, like you can see here, look at this. Look at this minion wave here that's coming in. These minions here that are coming in, these are all the fire minions, or the buffed minions. Even on this side where they were cleared out, it's still important that they've got them. Look at this super wave that's coming in. It's like a wave and a half right now, and this is a big wave for them. It's still got one melee as well, so that's pretty important for them. And even in mid lane, look at this! That's another super wave that's coming through. Moxies have had a fantastic timing coming on, and now they're going to start this siege up. So yes, minions do go through. Now they're looking at this Zeus damage. He gets his beats forced, ult forced as well in an awkward spot. Meanwhile, Amuz and Carb gets his Aegis forced. This should buy enough time for the Moxies to finally get this first Phoenix. Alcong in the backside, just creating enough space and zoning to get it blinked forward. Hits one. Wrath of Terror hits all 5 members, and big stun. Wall's actually the first one to pick it up. Curve gets taken out by the ticks from Wrath of Terror. Raijin picks up Gelst on the backside of things, but they're still getting lower, and Keprio has already been forced after forever. Are trying to chase this down, so Vanna slow, but he's just good enough. Mantle of Discord stun will force the disengage, and a 2-for-1 trade forever. Well, they're still going. Moxies go back in. Amaterasu dashes forward, looks for something. Detrox picks it up, though. Now it's Kepri getting forced back. I don't know why Cozy went back in there. They'd already backed up. They'd already got the Phoenix. They'd got what they wanted. They'd lost 2 and it was okay. But then they go back in, trying to just catch Forever off guard, and they swiftly roundhouse kick them in the face. And I do mean genuinely swiftly kick them in the face. Troy has been left on his own to freecast a lot of the time here. He was forced back once out of a fight, and that got them the Phoenix, but he went back to the fountain, healed up, and immediately came back in, and this damage that he's able to bring right now is disgusting. It's an Amuz and Carb. It's 30 minutes into the game. You have to respect that. And there was no respect for that, and so as a result, just, get rid of it. Cozy has now sold his boots, is working on what I can only imagine is going to be the Transcendence, just to try and make sure that in these longer engages he has a sufficient mana pool. Not to mention as well, he does have a fair bit of mana in his build, so I can respect that. Not sure it would be the Heartseeker. I don't feel like that would be a worthwhile trade here, but it will be interesting to see if anyone else is going to look to try and sell their boots. They are reaching that critical mass now, but we do still have relics that need to be upgraded, so because of that, I would expect to see those done first, get the wards and the mini-pot. The Moxies are looking to push here. They're pushing up both waves at the same time, which I like. I do like this call, but they are going to drop and just go straight to mid now. So with both teams having an Emperor's Armor, this is also going to help a lot on Forever's defense, but rush forward from Amaterasu, dazzling offense, doesn't get a stun off, but it does create a fair bit of space. Now it's all on what else they can do. Taco Drums rips through the back line. Alcong picks up Richard. This is huge for them. They're able to get this second Phoenix now, and Alcong's diving back in, and Muzenkar pushed very low. And that's what they needed. That's what they're trying to do here. These Taiko Drums offer enough space creation, and so does this dazzling offense that is just trying to secure whatever they can. Good pull. And then Phoenix is still got backdoor protections, but it's not enough now. Blink forward isn't quite good enough. It's just the ult forced already. Wolves in the backside of things is being chased out by Amaterasu. Will get his heal off, but Curve ends up taking out Gels. Detrox does manage to pick up on the backside into the Raijin, but it's not going to be good enough. Everyone's now being chased down like a dog. 3 members remaining in the Phoenix, or in the Titan room now. No Phoenixes remaining for Moxies. Fire Giant will be respawning in about a minute and a half. But for now, Moxies just need to be careful and not try and push this too aggressively. 7 seconds left on Richard. They're probably going to look to try and set up on the next Fire Giant, and then just burn next Fire Giant and get back for it. So for now, back up, buy up, get what you can, and go for it. In this case, Cozy, I don't want to see you pick up the Transcendence here. I'd rather just see the Hop. I mean, you could get the Transcendence still, but you're not going to stack it. At this point, you're looking for the sheer damage output potential that you get from just buying the item, which, don't get me wrong, Transcendence gives a fair bit. But you're not going to get that stacked, and that's fine. You're just doing it for the sheer power here. Winged Blade picked up for Forzian, and he's still got his boots passive, so I like this. This is a lot of movement speed, increasing his movement speed when he gets slowed, be that from Chain Lightning, be that from Honey, whatever it is, he can still now get away, which is really, really big for them. This even works on, what is the 3 called? I don't even know what the 3 is called. Life Tap, that's the one. It'll work on Life Tap as well, so that's all good. Now we see as well Runeforge Hammer actually coming out for Curve. This, given the amount of CC that is currently available for Moxies, I don't mind this. Not to mention the additional damage that Cozy makes you take, the additional 10%. That's pretty good. That's a 25% on Runeforge for Curve. And if you can just axe someone, Bladed Arrow, Hail of Arrows someone, and bang, they're gone. They're completely and utterly gone. Asti does still have his boots, but honestly, I don't mind seeing him have boots here. It's not the worst thing in the world. And this is going to be really impactful against Forever right now, considering they still holding onto their boots. They still can't afford right now to get that, as it's now a 22,000 gold lead. Moxies looking to reaggress here. Meanwhile, you see Jungler pushing in the mid lane, trying to create something. Interesting to see Cozy so far back. He's usually the one on the front line here, but he wants to make sure that he stays healthy and doesn't get poked out for when he wants to go in. Sprint has been popped and right onto the backside. Ult comes down, forces everyone away. Tycho Drums is good, but no damage is really getting healed to anyone. And Muzen Card takes 1 tick. It's enough though as Gelth gets taken out by Forzen in the mid lane. Phoenix has gone down. 5 minions are starting to pour in. Alcon looking at the Titan. Sylvanas gets a big Wrath of Terror and all gets taken down. But the Titan is the one that's really starting to take the damage here. This is the kill that matters. Moxies, though, are getting forced away. The damage dealers can't get in. This is big for them. Capri's still sat on it, but it's not good enough. Just get the ult off, and now Artio's getting erased. The damage is just too strong. Titan sat now at around 50% HP. But Forever are holding. It's low. It's getting lower. The minions, though, they're not clearing the minions. And that's what takes it down. Minions holding the aggro means that Moxies can very safely, from long range, with Doku, secure the kill onto the Titan. 36 minutes, 22 to 11, and a nearly 30,000 gold, well, 24,000 gold lead. Moxies take this game in astonishing dominance here. It was pretty impressive seeing what came out from them in the end. It was unfortunate that Gels never could really try and find any kind of situation where they felt comfortable actually being able to do anything. They weren't confident or comfortable, if I do say those words correctly. Wolver Warrior did as much damage as potential, as he had the potential to do. His ult placements were pushed back a little bit far, just because of how much Cozy was sat on his face, and not in the kinky way. He was just sat on his face. It was really, really good work. We've seen Cozy do this a lot when we see the Moxies play. He is the guy who dives the backline. He is the guy who annoys the backline, who creates a nuisance for them. Having Asti be on the front, having be so far back, was still totally fine for it. He was still able to get some good damage. Remag couldn't necessarily follow up a huge amount of the time, especially in those last bits of engagements, but it didn't necessarily matter when Ao Kwong late game just completely decimated and dumps the truck to Circuit, and so mid lane was totally fine. The end call was a little bit awkward, just the first time when they were trying to look to get the Phoenixes, so I don't mind them backing off when they did over on the left hand side. All in all though, it did just feel kind of a bit steamrolly there. We didn't really see too much coming out from Curve. Curve did good work, good damage into the backside of things. So you have a look at the details of how much damage was done. Yeah, his damage was still relatively good and relatively high. The problem was, though, is that just the big thing that I saw from the Moxies was that Troy was pretty much all of the deaths coming out from Ao Kwong were because of Troy. Like, straight up. Like, no one was really paying attention to this in Muzen Carb, and fair enough. Zeus is a priority target, but when Forzen is trying to dump into someone else needs to be there to try and either make sure that he's not going to die, peel for him, body block for him, whatever. It was only Cozy, and Cozy was busy keeping the others out of this. That's why Impo was almost going to be destroyed a lot of the times, was Forza was dumping into him, but no one was looking at the Emus and Carb. So because of that, it was a little bit awkward. But still, was good play. Very well done. Moxies will move on from the quarterfinals, moving on to the semi-finals, where they will face off against Wine and Dine, I believe it is, that they'll be facing in the next round. So hopefully the next video will be the semi-finals. I don't know whether or not it will be the Moxies or it will be the Elo Fishers versus Grubby Powerhouse. It may be both of them if I can get around to doing it. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Supersonic Blur. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and favorite for more, to share this stuff so people know that it exists. You guys have been a fantastic audience, and I shall see you all next time.